I bleed tonight, if I am sad tonight, I don't have a job to find. And if I work tonight, if I'm so tired tonight, I'll fall asleep when I'm home.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Hi, race fans. Welcome. We're live tonight here at Chicagoland for the Ford Entertainment Group Xfinity Series. Definitely here at Chicago. It's going to be a good one. These guys are about to battle it out with the Xfinity cars here tonight. Not sure how these cars are going to react around this track because it's been a while, and with the new build and all, it's been a little bit since I've seen these cars. But hey, I want to welcome up here in the booth with me old Jim Valley. Jim, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm excited today. Let's go racing. I think these cars are going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, absolutely, man. I tell you what, we're gridding these guys up here. So let's throw the grid in order up here. The man on pole, Anthony Keys, puts it out front. Thomas Lattimore's going to start up in the second. You got Darren Bruce there in third. Rob Haynes up the fourth. Kenneth McCullen in fifth. Anthony up the sixth. You got Chris McCullen there in seventh. Chuck Harrell in eighth. Matt Weeks in ninth. And around the top 10, you got Michael Everhart. Look through the rest of this field. I always say we got some bad, fast drivers, some bad, fast hot rods. They about to do some awful bad, fast things in Chicago here tonight.
You know, one of the things, let's see if these guys can make it through the first two laps without a caution, and let's see how long we can go.
Biggest thing, too, they have here is they have stage racing, and with their stages, they actually do throw a caution. You have to complete the stage. So I'll get to numbers here in just a few. So we've got 133 laps here tonight. Obviously, that's the big number that these guys want to make it to, because that's the telltale sign there, putting it in victory lane. Now, everybody wants that one. But we got a good field on board here as we get these cars, man, set up and get them going. Guys out there just getting ready to rock here. But now let me get you those stages here tonight. Oh, actually, he always throws that out here to me. First stage we're looking for is lap 40. Next one is lap 80. And then obviously the last one, lap 133. And what happens here is they have to complete the lap. If they do not complete the lap, because we had some mishaps earlier in the season where one driver ran out of fuel coming out of turn 3, and he didn't complete that lap. And guess what happened? Well, he didn't get credit for it. So there you go. All right, grid them up here, getting set. Go racing here tonight. Need to fix a few of the drivers out there. Looks like we might have a few new ones. Yeah, further entries in here. Happen to see that on my ticker side. Awesome. Yeah, I got a couple of them. How's everybody doing out there tonight? Jim, you ever raced, have you got a chance to race Chicagoland? I know you said you're kind of new to iRacing and whatnot. Had a chance to get out here and maybe race any?
I haven't. I'm a dirt guy. I don't mind watching a little. I don't mind watching a little pavement every once in a while, but you gotta love the dirt. But this type of racing takes finesse. You gotta ease it through those corners, and it'll be interesting to see, especially those guys in the mid pack, to see if they can ease it up and what the guys in the back are going to do.
Well, like you said, when we get through here, I mean, you'll see some pack racing up front. A lot of times with this style racing, these guys will get kind of, spread out a little bit. Especially Chicagoland, we'll have to see what this track brings about it. But right now, green flag flies, we're racing. Anthony Keys gets a good jump. You're going to see a lot of side-by-side for the moment. But that might, pan off early on, as this track usually, at one time, it used to be a top-style track, but they've changed it in iRacing. I've seen a lot of guys utilize the bottom and the middle groove. So right now, Thomas Lattimore's battling. You see a lot of jockeying around. Tire model. The tire model's changed a lot. I don't know how well it is on the dirt side, but on the oval side and the road side, they've implemented a new tire model, and it's really realistic. So you got to get the tire temperatures up. If not, well, you can get out there and slip and slide real easy.
Yeah, and that's one of the things these guys got to learn. With a new tire model coming out, they got to learn, where they're going to be, how much practice have they had on this track, and even what kind of drafting they're going to have, so they don't get a little sideways coming out of that corner.
No doubt. What's up, some random player? How you doing out there, man? How you doing, Tim? Still Prince out there, man. PC and Reggie, how you doing out there? I'll tell you, you're right, man. Good run for the Dirty South Racing. Okay, Dirty South. He's pulling for the Dirty South. Hey, let me know who your favorite drivers are out there right now. Good battle Around about let's say about third, fourth place, got Rob Haynes. He's got that beer machine store rocking with the 27 of Darren Bruce up underneath him. Again, these guys, the one thing that you're going to see is obviously get position early. There's a lot of room to work here on this track for Chicago. You can have multiple grooves. Now you can. Again, I remember this track when you couldn't. It was pretty much a one groove style track. Now that might change over the run, but right now you do have a lot of room to maybe go, side by side, make some passes.
Bruce just got a little high there. Wout Haynes behind him for the third place. It just showed, just even a little bit, even maybe that middle groove quite isn't where it's supposed to be. It seems like guys are really running that bottom line.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Everybody right now is just trying to see what they can do, get what they can get early on, and run this place around here. So, nice run by everybody so far. Very, very patient indeed. As you see, a good battle we're going on here, starting to brew. That'll be between looks like the 03, and I'm going to say that's Kenneth McCullen. Now, he's one of the Daytona winners here past this season. Done an outstanding job there. With Darren Bruce, he's struggling a little bit. He's actually lost several positions.
Yeah, it seems like he's staying high, and everybody else is kind of passing him on the low, taking his draft, and he just can't get on that low side to make that pass.
And I got a feeling that right now the low line's the place to be. I think after a while, the high
one of the things we talked about is dirt racing. Well, we got 7 laps gone here, and I guarantee you'd have good racing here.
Oh, absolutely. Well, the 60 machine there, Chris McCullen, along with Darren Bruce, they're going to go door to door. Now, the Cullen boys, and I've been told this several times, one of them is the uncle, one of them is the nephew. They are kin to each other. And I've been told a million times the difference, but I always forget. That's just my brain doesn't work like normal sometimes.
Well, a little sibling rivalry never hurt anybody, and this is always good to see, especially 4th and 5th.
Oh, absolutely, and they definitely do run very well in the league. They've had some good success here. They've had some bad up and downs too, but tonight, so far, I want to jinx them. A little bit to go. Hopefully these guys may end up doing what they need to do on this track. Maybe put it in victory lane.
Yeah, Keys is catching up to Lattimore just a little bit, and it looks like he's kind of losing some ground in the corner, but he's a little bit faster on the straightaway.
Yes, it is right there, Darren Bruce. Well, up front, Thomas Lattimore's checking out. Got that K2B machine, Motorsports. Anthony Keys right behind him, trying to run him down. Looks like we're under caution. Let's go back on the caution here and see. Like Waylon McConnell. Well, they were back here about 2 or 3 wide battling. I don't know if he was the one who brought it out or just kind of a victim and wrong place, wrong time. We're riding along with him here, showing everybody this replay. 6 machines down there low. Several cars got involved with this, and they were side by side there for the moment. Let's see. Oh, looks like the 6 kind of had to wiggle a little bit. Next thing you know, yeah, Waylon just had nowhere to go, but the 4 machine there. Yeah. Bad. Those guys were just, breaking bad, but right there, you just saw it. Broke loose. Guys got together. Doing pretty good, player. How you doing, man?
Looks like he's a little tight, and he just got up too high, and those guys had nowhere to go but the wall. Yeah,
and just like that, you can see it. Yeah, just right there. And then the 93 machine, nowhere to go. Just got clipped. Ouch. That's racing, I tell you. 1 minute you're out there running, next minute you're in the wall.
The nice thing, we're early in the race here. He can come back. He's a little fast pit, and he'll be back on the track and use a draft and make up some spots there.
Yeah, and another thing you have to note too is I do not think they have the fast fixes here. They have kind of taken those away and so forth. So we'll just have to see how that benefits. Now, here's another thing. We got our sponsors out here. We're under caution here tonight. Let me bring up my sponsor, our title sponsor here. For our caution sponsor, that would be Select Seal Coat and Asphalt Repair. That's right, 20 years of experience. Those guys right there are our caution sponsor of the race, and hopefully they don't get too much business going on tonight. I mean, I hope they get a lot of business, in real life, but hopefully they don't, don't get a lot of business as far as cautions go.
Yeah, it looks like the 6 had to come in there, do a little repair. 93 still in the pits, so we'll see how they fare when they can come out here, and how much this hurts them this early in the race.
All right, like you just said, early in the race, guys out here. Jim Westerfield's out front. Looks like he didn't make a pit, though, so I'm not sure if that's just maybe to get some bonus points or just a strategy, or maybe missed his pit box, missed the chance to go, or he's going to take the wave around here if something happened. Not sure. Thomas Lattimore, though, he got 4 tires of fuel. He's out there, the 14 machine. So, good run so far. 11 laps into this one. Contact back there, some heavy racing. And Reggie, Dirty South car, and VOD. Which one was that there, Reggie? Not 100% sure.
Looks like Westerfield just went in the pits here, and he probably should have used it a little bit earlier, but he's in there now.
Nice. What in the world does shadow banned on Twitch mean? What in the world does that mean, player? I'm not familiar with that terminology. Call me old or just not up with the times, I reckon. Well, it's good to be that everybody's out there. I appreciate everybody tuning in. We're here live tonight at Chicagoland for the Ford Entertainment Group Xfinity Series here with the I-State Racing League. These guys have had a good setup and a good run here tonight. I appreciate Jim jumping up here in the booth with me, short notice, man. I tell you what, and folks, hey, look, if you've watched, we do GeForce TV. If you've seen GeForce TV over there on the YouTube, and obviously here on OSR Network on Facebook, if you've seen any of the intros that I've played on that on Monday and Thursday night, new series there that I'm doing, check out some of those intros, and obviously you'll see them tomorrow night. Jim is the man who actually made them. So if you're looking for an intro, if you're looking for a commercial or just graphics or anything like that, check out Jim. Jim here, he'll definitely get you hooked up. Actually, your name's different on Facebook, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a little hidden on Facebook, but if you want to go to Hold Your Line Media on Facebook, hook up with me, and we'll see what we can do for your stream, or just for your racing league.
Are you watching the chat on the YouTube side? I mean, you can post that. I can and then you can post a link to it. Just post.
Yeah.
Just say hey, and I give you an admin right there, and you can post a link there to where people can get a hold of you, and I mean, because I'm all about it, I'm all about getting out there. And obviously, like I said, if you watch some of the other great racing, which we got a great race here tonight too. And hey, anybody from the league here looking for something done, like some highlight videos, he's done a great things like that. So I'm all for it. I think might even talk to Jim about doing some sponsorship on the channel, man. We'll get you some names out there and whatnot. So if you're looking for some great stuff, like I say, check it out. Most notably, check it out on the GeForce TV, the league I do on Monday and Thursday. But any leagues out there can benefit from his work.
Oh, I appreciate that, and we're open to do anything. I mean, if you want your highlight film out there, you want to do a little something to get into a league, maybe, or just highlight your league, it's the best way to do it, especially on social media.
Absolutely. Back green racing here. Thomas Lattimore, he gets another good jump out there. That's the advantage of being a leader. You get a good jump. But back behind him, you got Rob Haynes. Anthony Key's going to go door to door. Looks like Rob's going to win that battle out. Here comes Anthony Thickner right in the mix. You got Matt Weeks up there along with him. Darren Bruce this time says, man, I fell back last time. Let me see if I learned something on this restart.
Keys has that bottom line. Let's see if he can make this pass work.
Yes, Yes, he does. Keys got the pass. Bruce falls back in line. Remember, he was falling off the pace there up high early on beforehand, so let's see if maybe he has learned anything. Matthew McCain and the double O machine there. I know he's got a fan club out there from his family members. Always love that. Joshua Mayu, he's one of the owners here of the league. He's up to 8 so far. Looks like these guys kind of calmed down a little bit. All kind of single file up front for the moment. You got to go back to around about 10th, 11th. Kenneth McCullen there, Ronnie Sirline, and you got Chuck Harrell. They were battling out a little bit. We'll further back in the field here, see what kind of action. I think right now these guys are, kind of calm. They had a little bit of action early on. Now they want to just see what they've got now.
You got a long ways to go. You got the breaks in between where you can catch back up. You don't want to be wrecking stuff right now, so just take your times, find your line, and see how this track changes over time.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Right now, good battle going on here, about 14th, 15th place spots. You got Rick, I think that's Schneider, I believe is how you say it there. Hope I said it right. But boy, you got a side-by-side duel there. Ronnie, Tom drilling. And, Tom goes down low a little bit. The contact there with old Wesley. He got all kinds out of shape. He's way off the pace.
These guys are trying to run 2-3 wide, and some of them are pushing right up to the top, pushing these guys right into the wall. So you gotta take your time. Other guys are going really low, so everybody's kind of finding their line right now.
And you're right. It looks like when some of these guys get in there, it gets a little bit tight. The car pushes up. Next thing you know, you're up into somebody else, or you're on the outside, and you'll push right up into that wall. So that's a unique paint job on the 77 car. Napa. I'm so used to seeing Napa in green, yellow, and I believe it was like green, blue, and all that. But he's got a Tide. He does have Tide on the back, but it's a Tide color with Napa and Napa know-how on it. So a little bit different. Maybe it's Napa Tide or Napa Clean. How's that? But he's got a good battle going on in front of him there. We got Ronnie, Doug Hess, and company. What I'm seeing right now is the guys out front or guys that are racing. They might be single file for the moment, but you've got so much. Every once in a while, you'll see a guy to shoot down on the inside and make a pass. Take one position here and there. So even though you might see a lot of single file racing, and they're very, very close at the moment. Problem is that guy behind it. I've said this word a million times here, Jim. We say it all the time on the channel. Momentum. And y'all are familiar with that on the dirt side. Dirt side, I always say it's all about hanging on with that too. But y'all got to have so much momentum. You lose that momentum on tracks, you can lose so much positions. And it works a lot of times on these 1.5 mile style, I say cookie cutter style tracks, but it works the same way here on the oval, just like it does on that dirt side. That momentum plays a huge factor.
The focus too. I mean, on the dirt side, you're staying focused. The next thing you know, you lose a little bit or get a little sideways, and you got to get her back at 3 laps, and you got four guys passing you already.
Absolutely. We like this battle right here for around about third, fourth to see Matt Weeks, Anthony Keys. Matt made it around, but then the next thing you know, looks like Matt's car kind of jumped up the track a little bit. That allowed Anthony to get right there back on his bumper. So like you just mentioned there before, just like it is on the dirt side, folks, got to hit those marks. You got to be dead on, and it works. Oval racing is a lot different than, let's say, road racing. Road racing to me is more you're racing the track. You have to hit your marks. You have to know the discipline. You have to know what that car's going to do. Oval racing is pretty much it is close, I'm going to say, in form of what dirt is, because you are, like you said, concentration. You have to hit the same line every time in order to make the fast laps. That's the biggest thing with oval, and I would say it's the biggest thing with dirt. Road, I'm going to say the same, sure. You want to hit your marks there, but you can, there's so much more involved with the road than they are here. This is more like you mentioned it, concentration. You've got to be concentrated lap after lap to hit your mark lap after lap so you don't mess up.
Yeah, one of those things, are you racing the track or are you racing the guy in front of you? And when you start racing the guy in front of you and he's missing his points, you're missing them too, and the guys behind you are catching up.
You know, when I raced on iRacing, I know a lot of viewers out there, if you've raced too, when I raced, and I haven't raced in a while, it's been a while because I just love the broadcast side, but when I raced on iRacing, you brought up a good point right there. Like right now, Rob Haynes is following in the tire tracks of Thomas Lattimore. You get so focused on the back end of the driver in front of you, you can actually follow yourself into the wall. If he goes up and comes out of the turn, goes a little high, the car pushes and bumps the wall, I have seen it a million times, the guy behind him do the same thing. Reason is because you're so locked in, focused on the guy in front of you, you actually forget about what intent or what you're trying to do through your windshield there. You're just trying to hit your marks, trying to follow in his footsteps, because there are a racing line that you wanted a fast way around the track. We've heard it. We've heard guys before, let's say like where Rob Haynes is sitting. He might close in on Thomas, but right now Thomas has the fastest lane around the track, so Rob's going to have to find another way. But like you said, you get so focused on that car in front of you, sometimes, and I've had it happen to me before, I ran right into the wall.
Yeah, and that's your focus too. You know, when you're so focused, like you said, on that guy in front of you, and you start moving up and you don't know how close that wall is to you, that's when you're going to hit the wall. That's when you're going to make the mistake. So one of the things these guys have to do is they have to run some different lines. They have to try some different things. I think Haynes has to move all around a little bit, stay behind, get that draft, but also work his position to work his way up.
Absolutely. And you're right. You want to work, the lanes. You want to try different areas. You don't want to do too much, and start losing time, but you've got to try to find something over the course of the race. And that's the one biggest thing in advantage with iRacing now that I really feel that they've worked on tremendously. I know a lot of people are on about the tire model. I know a lot of people are on about that. I'm not very technical in that department. You'd have to go to some of the pro drivers, and I've talked to some of them. But with that said, I think iRacing has made strides with the dynamic tracks and so forth and so on, that over the course of a race, it changes just like real racing, where the grooves change. Used to be, once there was a fast groove around the track, really that was the fast groove, and that was it. If you tried to move around, there wasn't much moving around you could do. Now, over the course, with the dynamic weather and all that, you're right. You can move, try to find a different way to maybe see if there's a faster line and obviously overtake the guy in front of him.
And you're seeing right now, Haynes with a big run right behind these two. He's over a second behind the leaders. And now he's right. Well, now it looks like Haynes just passed Lattimore, and they're going back and forth and Weeks in front.
Yep, Rob made that pass right there, so it looks like Weeks made the pass on Haynes. It looked like he was going to use that lap car as a pick, but right now Rob's kind of Rob's in second, my bad. Thomas Lattimore falls back to third. Matt Weeks the man out front. So they're actually gaining on Matt for the moment. Rob looks like he's got a pretty quick car. I was a little bit off there. Thought I was looking at top guys, but they were second, third. Right now it looks like Thomas might be falling out. Now at this point, we've been on a pretty good run, green flag wise. Here's where they start seeing the tires start to fall off. You're going to start seeing guys that know how to manage tire wear, know how to get around the track. And remember, we're only about 9-8 laps away from the first stage. So a lot of these guys are going to try to see what they can get. Top 10 guys obviously get bonus points. So can Matt hang on to that for the next, maybe let's say 8 laps or so? Or is Rob Haynes going to be able to run him down?
Our top 3 leaders were running pretty low in the beginning of the track. In the beginning of the race, were they scrubbing those tires? Are they going to start losing? Is the next group going to start, catching up? It's all about the tires, like you said, and how aggressive and how hard are you racing?
Absolutely. Josh Saucy, the man hanging on the 10th place. That'd be the last final spot for some bonus points there when the first style stage caution comes out. He's got a slew of machines behind him. Tom Drilling, Jason Branch right there would love to get up there and see what they could do. Maybe try to get up and get some points. Looks like old Jason's going to take up underneath Tom for the spot. But you just see right there what happened. Jason lost all his momentum because that car got tight, went up. Here comes Matt. That's a lap down car. He's on newer tires, so it shows you how much better newer tires are than old. But you saw right there a perfect example of what we was talking about, Jim. Jason went up underneath and made the pass on Tom, but the car just shot up the track, got way, way out of the groove, got tight, lost that momentum we was talking about, and guess what? Lost the spot.
You know, how aggressive has he been throughout the race? And it's just showing that that car is going to start floating up. You cannot run that low line and stay consistent if you've been running aggressive the whole race.
And we said before that you'll see it early on with new tires. Low line will be the place to be, but I think the middle groove's going to come in, and maybe if they run long enough, it might not be long enough with the stages. We might sit at the last stage. We'll have to see if they'll go way high. It used to be way high at this track. I think middle lane's going to be the area that you're going to see. Right now, Tom Drilling is going to work over Josh for that 10th place. Now, like I say, that's the last final spot for bonus points there. The 81 is sitting in 10th, the 15 machine there, Tom. He's going to work over his back end and see if we can't get around him.
You know, and this is where it starts to get dicey. We're coming up to lap 40. Are these guys going to be racing aggressively to try to get there? And, you know, we're hoping not to see a crash, but, you know, they're going pretty low. They're ducking in right now.
Yeah, I mean, every point matters. You know, we're definitely not there, but we got a battle for the lead. Rob Haynes, well, he is on a move. He has definitely shown he's got a good long-run car. He just ran down old Matt Weeks and just went by him like he was sitting still.
Haynes has been sitting there in second place, back and forth with Lattimore and Weeks, and looks like Weeks is coming in right now.
Wow, this is odd. Unless, I mean, he pitted on that caution. Now this brings up the question. And that caution was within 11 laps, so they've only been out there for about 20-some laps. They should be able to make it around this place to the stage caution.
I wonder if they miscalculated some fuel, or did they not? Did he not take it when he pitted there?
Yeah, had to. Something definitely off of me, because you would think. Most of it, maybe we do see some other cars coming on pit road now. Matt Weeks. So, I tell you what, this might. Tell you what, Jim. Right now, I think we might be short here, coming up to the stage, and this might mess up the whole top 10. And what it looks like, Thomas Lattimore now is, I think he's in fuel save mode, because Darren Bruce has pulled right up on his back bumper. I think Lattimore knows that he might be close on fuel for this stage, because I'm going to tell you what, and Darren looks like he's saving some. I think we've got some guys. And Chuck Harrell, look at this. Yeah, Thomas Lattimore, I think, is saving fuel. I think these guys are close to making it to stage 1.
Yeah, and maybe they didn't expect that caution lap to come out, and, you know, they just miscalculated it. But, you know, those top 5 right now, it's really interesting to see how this race is going.
And you got a 99 right there. Now, remember, he made a pit, and he's got new tires. And Rob Haynes on new tires. You just see the difference in new tires. They go 4 wide. I don't know if that's going to work in the turn. 3 wide is going to be really, really dicey. And Rob right there gets into him. Aggressive move. And that moved Thomas out of the way, but Chuck right there and brings Anthony Keys in the mix. And, ain't going to be no Christmas cards there between those guys afterwards.
You know, Harold just moved right up to first place, and but you know, it's interesting that Lattimore, even though he was saving a little bit, he's still up there in second. He
did, and we made it to stage 1. Chuck Harrell is going to be the man that's going to get stage win number 1. I I really, really feel. Now, here's another thing with Rob Haynes. Rob made it back onto the lead lap before the caution came out. I think that's why he was pushing so aggressively. What this does is he can come right back into the pit road and be right back on the same cycle with everybody. He gave up points, but really, I don't know why he would have just gave up points, because if he's going to come right back into the pits anyways with everyone, he gave up a lot of positions on the track too. Oh, again, scratch that.
Weeks is the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Weeks is the same thing. He's back on the lead lap, and I'm not really sure.
I could understand. At first, what I was about to say is oh, well, he got back on the lead lap so he could pit with everybody else, and then he'd be good. But then I'm sitting thinking, well, wait a minute, you just gave up massive amount of bonus points. You also are going to give up a lot of positions if you do pit, because you're going to be in the back no matter what, even been on the lead lap with everybody. So I'm trying to see what the benefit is here. I don't know. Maybe somebody out there to chat, let me know what y'all's thoughts is on that. What do you think, Jim?
Yeah, I don't see any benefit at all. I'm thinking they had to run out of fuel to have to come in, get back in the lead lap. It makes no sense. You're in the top 5. You're running good. You're running clean. To just come in and lose those positions.
We'll see where he comes out here. Okay. So this is interesting. He did not pit Rob Haynes. I don't think he pitted. Did he pit?
I'm not sure if he went in or not. I think Weeks stayed out there the whole time.
Matt came in, and I think, Matt came in and took 2 tires. So did Kenneth. Kenneth took 2. Matt took 2. Rob Haynes did not pit. He didn't come in and pit. So now I'm really looking at it, because we've seen the difference between new tires and old tires. Now, I understand he's only got, maybe 2-3 laps difference. But 2-3 laps at the end of a run could be huge. All right? Especially when he's going up against somebody like Chuck and all them guys up there with the newer tires. And, again, we've been kind of referencing to the dirt side. And maybe you can enlighten me a little bit, Jim, because like I say, you're a dirt man. I mean, anybody else in the chat. We don't talk a lot about tires when it comes to dirt, which the reason is because you're only running about, 20 laps, 10 laps, and it's so fast-paced. But I imagine they do affect how those carts and cars handle, just like here. But
yeah, that dirt track changes so quickly. And even depending on when the race starts, usually by the end of the race, it's extremely slick and everybody's running that high line. And, running 20, 30 laps doesn't really make a difference because you're back in. But this does make a difference. And it's interesting that you say that, because are they going to be able to race with only 2 fresh tires for the next 40 laps?
Well, now here's something interesting. Rob Haynes is falling all the way back to 8th. And I don't know why, but you asked about 27 out there, Reggie, Darren Bruce. That is interesting, too. I don't think he ran out of fuel. I think he checked up because of everything that went on, Thomas Lattimore, but they're back in 14, 15. So some of the top guys right there, not sure what happened on their pits. I'm looking at their times. Their times look pretty good. Now, Lattimore had a little bit longer. He had a 17-second pit stop, so something happened on his pit. I got a feeling he probably did some optional repair on the car. I just remember he got a little tag there when they were bunched up. But everybody else, 14, 13, 15-second stops, kind of the norm for 4 tires. So I'm not sure what happened to Darren. Not sure what happened to Matt. Not 100% sure why Rob had to fall back to 8th. But now this really even brings up even a bigger question that was talking of the whole benefit of pitting before. Unless he can just maintain that top 10 throughout until they do a green flag stop here, because they're probably going to have to do a green flag stop. I don't think they can go the 40-lap distance. They might. We seen right there they were close, just within, 20-some laps. So I think, going, 30-some laps here to the next stage is going to be a tough one. So I think if Rob can maintain in the top 10, it'll pay off. If he falls well out of the top 10, though, I don't know what the strategy was involved on that one.
Yeah, just to me, I can't figure it out. You lost so many places by doing that, and this really changed the whole race in itself.
Absolutely did. We got Chris McCullen up front, Joshua Mayu, because it looks like Chuck Harold has disconnected. Well, no. Chuck came back on pit road. Wondered if he got a penalty. There's some crazy pit strategies going on. Folks, I'm about as confused as, I don't know, but if y'all definitely want to chime in out there, let us know. I'm all for it. But, hey, like you said, the complexion of the race has changed. We got some guys up front. Chris McCullen, Joshua Mayu and company, they're about set to get going here. Green flag. Got a Whalen up there, Tom Drilling and Doug Hess. John Held. Here we go. Pace cars in. Going back racing at Chicagoland here tonight. Well, the one thing about it, Jim, I'll tell you what, all this pit strategy stuff keep us on our toes here, trying to figure out what these guys are doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And it'll be interesting to see how our top five run that race. I see Haynes moving up a little bit, but we haven't really paid attention to any of these guys up in the front to see where they're going to be at. It was pretty consistent before, but it'll be interesting to see. Maybe it'll be really interesting, Joe, if they have the same pit strategy. That'll throw us for a loop there.
And absolutely, and just see how some of the faster guys were early on the race, how they come and modulate through traffic. Thomas there, along with Rob, Matt, Darren, and company up there. Right now, Chris is the man out front leading it. Tom Drilling, remember, he was coming through the field pretty good earlier. Now he's got the track position. And something else we haven't talked about. Track position. In a lot of these races, I sit up here and sometimes question later on in the race pit strategies, pit stops, and so forth and so on. But in a race that I'm seeing right now where it is kind of tough to pass, and also just to give you an idea of what these guys are running, let me tell you what the last lap times were. And this right here is going to give you an indication of what a guy back in maybe 15th or 20th spot can do. The last lap from first all the way back, 27. There's only, it's less than a second splitting them. Okay. What that tells me right there is there's not going to be anybody coming through the field like gangbusters. It's going to take them a while to do it. So guys like Rob Haynes and company who are, well, let's see where Rob is right now. Well, Rob is up to 5th, but he started pretty good. But let's go back a little further, like somebody, let's say like Thomas Lattimore, who's out front. He's in 15th. It's going to take him a little bit to get through the field. So, in a nutshell, I think track position at a track like this might be key. Tires definitely are. But I really, really feel that later in the race, two-tire or some kind of wild strategy could hold on, because you see what Chris is doing. He's walking away.
Yeah, let's see what that second stop at lap 80 does for us. Like you said, Chris is walking away, and you even got the 15 in second, just pulling away a little bit, and we got some pretty good gaps here throughout the whole field.
And you got Rob Haynes right there. We talked about it. He was very, very fast, but he is just not coming through the field. He's got Darren Bruce right there along with him. Actually, excuse me, John Hill behind him. But you see Rob, he's kind of stuck right there in fifth, just not being able to, momentum through. So I take it back to this track. Yellow flag's out. 2 cars in the back. Looks like old Ronnie and company back here. See what happened to him. Justin was involved in it also. Back on the replay here and see. They were side by side. And one of the other fast cars, like Chuck Harrell, was coming through the field pretty quick. He's got those new tires. Riding along here with old Ronnie. It looks like the 18 and him. Well, they were 3 wide. We said before that don't work. And he basically was just wrong place, wrong time. Ronnie got caught up in a wall.
That's just like we talked about before. You're running that high side, and someone gets a little bit loose, and you have nowhere to go. They're going to hit you, and they're going to put you in the wall.
All right, now pit stops. Again, we're probably about in the same situation we were last time here, Jim, with the first caution. It happened a little bit later. This one has happened a little bit more earlier. I think this might actually help some of these guys. You see Rob Haynes this time comes in pit road. He says, hey, I'm not staying out, like I did last time. Heck with that. So we're going to see 4 tires of fuel. Looks like most of these guys are going to pull 4 tires of fuel. Rob's down and away. And we'll see what cycles through. Chris is still out front. Yep. Top guys run 4 tires of fuel. Looks like Rob was able to get 1 position up to 4th. I think this right here will benefit a lot of these guys here as far as this one happened a little earlier than the last caution. So now you're going to see some guys, maybe pull a little bit more. They'll have a little more strategy if it goes green to the next stage.
I didn't know where we're at, especially with that pit stop. And I assume that someone may take a chance here and try to move up the board a little bit.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that explanation there, Mark. Okay, I didn't know that, but I'm pretty Mark Cretin out there helps out. He said those 7 spots, pit stalls were across the line on pit road before the 29 got to the start-finish line. That's why he had to give up those spots. That's why Rob Haynes fell back to 7th, like we said. Okay. Well, I appreciate that, man. I learn something new all the time. Crazy how, sometimes the technicalness of how iRacing is. Weird word I just used there, but sometimes things like that, man, kind of jump out and bite you.
A lot of these guys run these cars all the time, and iRacing's an amazing gaming system and so realistic that you really have to just focus on one car sometimes and learn how to run those races.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And a lot of these guys do run multiple series. Obviously, we're in the Xfinity car here tonight for the Ford Entertainment Group. Also got to give a shout out to our Select Seal Coat and Asphalt Repair. Idle caution sponsor here tonight because we are definitely under caution here. So that's your sponsor for the cautions here. But, like you said, a lot of these guys run different things. Some of them even might run the dirt side, road side. A lot of things that you can run here on iRacing. There's a lot of different racing. But I'm with you. You have guys who are better at road racing. You have guys who are just way better at dirt. You have guys better at the oval side of stuff. So it's very difficult to jump from different disciplines of racing. I'll use it that way. And, be very fast in all of them. There's a few out there that can do it, but not everybody.
You get into some of the faster dirt sprint cars, and you're messing with that throttle on those short tracks the whole race, and you're just kind of pounding it to the floor. These cars, you can't do that. you'll be doing loops right away if you're stepping it down.
Absolutely. And you know, we bring the real life into it because a lot of people associate iRacing with the realest thing you can get without, I always say, without spending millions of dollars to go real racing. I'm going to bring up a name. Hope it don't offend anybody. If it does, well, then go watch somebody else. But anyway, no. Kyle Larson. Perfect example. In NASCAR, he has won in NASCAR, but he dominates in dirt. Tony Stewart, a champion in NASCAR, and did very well. Runs very well in dirt. You see it a lot. A lot of guys that are able to do that. But on the flip side of that, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, very good open wheel drivers, and won a lot and won some there, but also won champions in NASCAR. But never really heard of them in dirt. Now they might have when they were young, but I don't know how they are now. So that's why I kind of look at that a little different. So, hey, it's interesting to see different discipline and differences of drivers of what, you know, crosses over.
Yeah, I just think some of these guys just have, you know, that God-given ability to race and get in whatever they want, and obviously it's seat time. I mean, a lot of these guys that came up through the ranks raced dirt and raced every night and raced Friday and Saturday night and Sunday night and made it through. And you know, these cars change all the time, you know, in I guess in real life, and they have to adjust to that too.
Absolutely. Getting set to go back green, pace cars in. Chris McCullen, and you mentioned that right there. Cars changes a lot on iRacing too, so it kind of transfers over. If you're, you know, you might be good in one discipline, but another one you might not be so much. There's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't mean you don't have skills or anything. It just means that some guys might be a little better at doing certain things than others, and vice versa. But right now, good battle up front. Chris moved out. You got Joshua Mayhew there in second. Looks like Tom Drelling's going to have to hold off Rob Haynes, and he does for the moment.
You know, you got Mayhew, and I keep an eye on Josh. He's made his way up there. He's in the top 10 of that first round before we got those goofy pits before, but he's been in the top 10, top 5, and, you know, I think he's just buying his time here.
I think track position 2 is definitely helping him out. Good battle going on around 5th, 6th, 7th place spots. You got a cluster of machines there. They're about two by two, and a good one out in front of them there. You got John Held, Josh Saucy there in the mix, along with Waylon and Matt Weeks involved with it. That's a good battle, and right behind them too, it's kind of hornet's nest sitting back there. Everybody's trying to get what you can get because you know those tires are going to kind of level off. Now's the time to try to get as much position as you can. Darren Bruce back into the mix. He's up to 11th.
Yeah, Weeks really moved back up, you know, especially all the way to the back that he was before when he made that pit stop. But he's a fast car. He was up front towards the end there, so we'll see what happens with him.
Absolutely. Down up top there, Waylon, he's got a man up underneath him there. The 90, looks like the 99 or 22 machine. It's 22. Let's get it. 22, there it is. Yep, Jason Branch on the inside. Here comes Darren. What Darren's moving. The 27, he gives a little bump. That's not where you want to give a little bump in the turn. It's usually a disaster waiting to happen when you want to do that.
Yeah, and even that after 10th place, you have that McConnell, and Lattimore all battling it out right there, too, at the end. And even Harold's putting in. Those are all fast cars looking for their spot. It'll be interesting to see our strategy here again. What are they going to do? How are they going to do it? Are they going to try to make that move for that last session?
Yeah, Darren's on the move. He's up to 9th. Just got to go back up to guys like Rob Haynes. Remember, he was fast, dominating earlier, but since he's got marred in traffic, has just not been able to get back to the front. Chris has been able to get it, so that, you know, alludes me back to what I was saying before earlier. Track position out front, I think, in the clean air is where you want to be. So right now, though, good battle back in 10th, 11th place spot. Kenneth McCullen there, Darren Bruce, Jason Branch. Well, they're mixing it up pretty good. Well, there's Lynn out there. She's pulling for the McCullen gang. He says, Chris, go, go, go. He's going about as fast as he can go.
They're not strung out as much as they were before in that first session, so it looks like everybody's trying to move really for that top 10 spot this session.
Well, remember, we got about 15 laps here before we go to our next stage. These guys know they're going to be able to get some new tires and fuel. That's the one thing about the stage racing here is, you either want to save and try to run it onto the end, or you want to try to be a little aggressive. But you're right. Good battle run about the 10th place spot there with Darren Bruce, and almost some side-by-side contact between him and Kenneth there. They almost traded some paint. And Kenneth boy clipped his nose down. Wow, that was a close move.
Yeah, and you can these tires start getting loose. We saw it before and early in the race, pushing right up to the wall and.
Oh, 3 wide with a lap car. Thomas Lattimore's on the move. He's up to 12th so far, so that's another car that was fast earlier on. And if he can't get it, yellow flag's out. Oh. Looks like Justin and Sean. Off the track. Let's go right here with Sean and see. I don't know if it was on him. Looks like maybe Justin was the one who caught up. They were 3 wide to front. I think Sean might have just been a victim. Wrong place, wrong time. It's like collected also Rick. Yeah, they were 3 wide up there. 2 wide. Lap car just came down and got right into Justin and Sean. Nowhere to go. Wow.
That's one of the things when you're running in that lap traffic, you have to be careful.
Yeah. Now, this mixes up the pit strategy. Do you pit now? Do you stay out? I think we're going to see everybody come on pit road. You come on pit road, you get your 4 tires, and then it's going to be almost like a mad dash to the stage.
Yeah, if they want those bonus points for that top 10, they better do something. But then again, who's going to stay out?
Gosh, may you. Man, I got to say, that move right there probably... Yeah, he's going to be a sitting duck. There's no way he's holding off everyone behind him with 4 brand new tires. If he had maybe 4 or 5 drivers behind him, he probably could hold it off. But with everyone behind him going to be on new tires, I don't see it.
Yeah, that strategy kind of get that pit stop. You'll be right back up in front, get those bonus points. I just don't see how he's going to make it.
Not with it. I mean, if there's a couple laps left to the stage, might be a little different. He probably could fight it off. But with obviously, 10 here, there's going to be, but at least 10 to maybe 9 laps. That's asking a lot out of an older set of tires, which are well in probably 15 laps or so, 10 to 15 laps, and it looks. Is he gonna come in? Yeah, he's coming in. So maybe he stayed out to get some bonus points. That's the only thing I can think. He stayed out to get bonus points. That would definitely be the only advantage to why I would say him do what he did there. Because he's not going to stay out the next time around. That would be suicide on the track, basically. Maybe he just got some bonus points out of that.
Right. But, where does this put him when this stage ends? Still be in the back. Can he make that run? And we know that these top guys that are running are fast. And it's really, really hard to make it through the field.
Yeah, you're right. So, good run so far. A lot of guys out here trying to see what they can do. We're here tonight Chicagoland for the Ford Entertainment Xfinity Series. I want to give a shout out to Select Seal Coat and Asphalt Repair, our caution sponsor here tonight. Guys do an outstanding job at 20 years of experience. If you're looking for residential or commercial work done, call them up right there. Select Seal Coat and Asphalt Repair. I'll get it covered for you. A lot of other great sponsors here too. Ford Entertainment Group setting the tone here for us. And look who's back out front, Rob Haynes. Now we're going to see what he does out front, and can Chris, remember Chris, the last several times has done tremendously out front. These guys ain't got to worry about saving tires, though. There's only going to be, about 8 laps or so left before the stage caution. Saving tires is going to be out the window. I mean, they're going to just go for it.
And your top 5 were fast before, and it'll be interesting to see how they sort themselves out.
Absolutely. You got Tom Drilling, John Held, Matt Weeks there, Josh, Doug, Jason Branch, Kenneth McCullen, and then Wayne McConnell hanging on to the 10th place. So we'll see if he can hold off Chuck and Jim Westerfield back there too. I don't know. Let's see how this goes. And folks, if you look at that thing out there, you see the little R beside of their name. That means they're rookies to the league, not rookies iRacing. We was having this discussion a couple weeks ago. A lot of these guys have got 2,000 and 3,000 I ratings. I mean, there's no way they're no rookies to that. But rookies to the league, so that's what that means. And there is a Rookie of the Year award. I believe that is brought up by a butt kicker. I believe this year. I'll have to double check for it. I don't want to mess that up. But there is a Rookie Driver of the Year, amongst other awesome prizes. This is a long season. They're going to do the full Xfinity Series here. They do half of the Cup Series run, so 133 laps, and it's actually went by pretty good. We've actually had some pretty good green flag runs. It has set up some strategy in between the stages. Another thing, I'd really like for them to implement here, Jim, that iRacing just put in. I'll tell you something that would make these races, because we'll have another league that I do on Wednesday night, the Kick-Ass Beef Jerky Truck Series, the tire limits. And what that has done to those races is there's a lot of known fast guys week in and week out. But those fast guys now have to manage their tires. They can't just every time a caution comes out, jump on pit road and go. Same with this. This would mix it up some on a tire limit, because every time a caution comes out, you're coming down on pit road. You can't do that. You have to pick and choose when you do it. So it might limit it to just those stage cautions, or maybe 1 or 2 others afterwards, the tire limits. Definitely something interesting that would that's another strategy that could be thrown into it to make it more realistic. And it does. I mean, anybody's checking out the Wednesday night series. The racing in the last couple of weeks has been phenomenal with that, because the tire limit being thrown in it has just made it very interesting. Green flag though, and Rob Haynes does get the jump. So I'm still going to go with the fact of, 1, the leader has that advantage, but 2, track position is going to be king here. And good battle going on for second.
Yeah, Joe, I just want to touch on what Lattimore did earlier, by just some odd things, and he's fell back to 15th. He was right there in front, and then we go back what Bayhue just did, the 0-2, and staying out for possibly those points. Lattimore has not gotten any better than 13th place since he was up in front, and I just don't understand the strategy.
Well, right now I'm also looking on Thomas's part. He's got damage to the front of that car. Pretty good damage. That could be hindering him. I'm not sure where he got that damage. Evidently it looks like it run in the back of someone. That definitely very well could be one of the issues of why he's not coming through the field like he should. But you're right. Just not sure. Now, Josh Mayhew, he's coming through pretty good. He's up to 15th. He's got those newer tires. Not so newer, but Let's see if it's going to benefit him. I'm with you on that one as far as how that works out. Rob Haynes has been the guy who was kind of, I don't like using the word lucked out or anything like that, but he has benefited. And boy, tell you, look at 10th place here. Oh, Doug Hess, Dark Herald. I mean, they're 3 and 4 wide back there around that spot, but Doug had to check up. Let's see, Doug had to check up in 10th spot, and boy, that messed up the whole field behind him.
You know, it just creates a bigger gap for those top 5, and you know, even going back in those top 5, they've been up there, and they've been strong in the top 10, and Haynes especially, and you got McCullough up there, you got Weeks up there, and their strategy is working out by kind of following the rules and not taking any chances.
That's another one right there, and boy, I tell you what, Doug Hess is trying to do everything he can, but I think that car is hurt. It is hurt. I mean, he's got damage on the front. I believe he's more or less holding up a lot of the guys behind him. I think they're a lot faster. Just trying to protect it. Right now, though, he's out of 10th, the top 10 to get any kind of bonus points. Darren Bruce right there had to check up. Thomas Lattimore, like you were saying, in the mix there. Joshua Mayu coming through the field. And just a lot of these cars. We'll just have to see what happens here. Got a couple more laps to go before we get here to stage 2 here tonight.
You know, May was driving that bottom line, and I see, Bruce and Lattimore are right there with him. So they're kind of working together, working their way right through the field right now.
Teammates there, Lattimore and Doug Hess, but you just saw right there, Lattimore, that car got awful tight, bounced a little bit, allowed old Bruce to go right up underneath him. Josh Mayhew's there for the moment. So let's see what Darren's going to do this time. If he's going to get another run here on Doug, maybe shoot around him. Right now, Whalen's the man hanging on to 10th. Rob's still out front leading it with Tom Drelling. Here comes Darren again. He's got another good run. Interesting to see what Doug does this time, if he wants to try to throw a block on him, or because at some point these guys are just going to get a little impatient. Go, okay, we know you're not as fast, and they might move him.
Yeah, we got out front. We got Haynes just pulling away. I mean, he's running a perfect race right now.
And that's just, I think, a benefit of the leader. And you're seeing right there, Doug Hess. Yeah, he drops down to the bottom. I got to give my hats off to Darren. Got a lot of patience. I feel like Darren's probably got a lot more faster car. Joshua right there is working over him. Doug's doing what he needs to do. He wants to hold on to that position. Don't want to lose too many positions, because obviously pit stop here, but man, he's got a cluster of machines behind him.
Yeah, and everybody's staying patient behind him too. So
yeah,
it'd be interesting to see what happens.
But got my hats off to all of them there. I mean, definitely patience. They haven't run out a lot of it. It looks like the caution's going to fly, and he's going to hang on to it. Rob Haynes is going to win stage 2 as the caution flies. Well, that helps out a lot of these guys as far as positions, and but they're going to come in, be able to pit. Well, this is it here. This is the last, final stage, the one for all the marbles and all everything. We've seen some wild pit strategies all night long. I'm kind of curious to see what this one, or if a caution flies, what's going to happen. As far as how the pit strategies play out here.
Yeah, everybody kind of threw us for a loop this whole race, and it'll be interesting to see, because those top 5 drivers, if they can come out of the pits and run that top 5, without a caution, no one's touching them.
I think the leader has the advantage here. Whoever is out front, if a caution flies between now to the end of the race, and depending on that how many cautions it is, hopefully it goes green, but if there's one or how many, whether that last caution, I feel like whoever's out front is the guy that has the advantage, because we've seen it all night long. how out front and the clean air and the advantage of being a leader has benefited drivers. So, not saying that drivers won't be able to run down the leader. We've just not seen it done tonight.
Right, it'll be interesting to see what Haynes does, and it looks like he's coming out of the pits. And who do we got in first here?
Got him. I don't know if Tom Drilling got him. Boy, that was a battle off pit road. That was close. I wasn't able to tell coming off pit road, but the ticker's saying Tom got the top spot, unless Rob's going to go right by him here on the back stretch. We'll have to wait and see, but for the moment, it says Tom Drilling got it. I will say this. Pit stops. Now here's some interesting stats for you, and I love doing this here on the channel here, OSR Network, online sim racing network.com, your home for fun and exciting sim racing. And I love doing this kind of tech talk type of stuff. And guess what? Never mind. Top 2 guys. Oh, no, top 2 guys come on pit road. All right, little tech talk. Pit stops. I have always said mental mistakes on pit road can cost you a race, and you can win or lose one on pit road. You can win or lose it on the track, obviously, but pit road is usually where a lot of races are won and lost. What we just saw right there, Tom Drilling and Rob Haynes, was a drag race, and it was very close, inches. And the reason being is pit times. Let me break down what the pit times are here. There is a pit time from the point that you enter pit road till you get in your pit stall. Your pit stop is completely started and completed, and you get off pit road and you cross the last line off of pit road. That is total pit time from start to finish. Then you have your pit stop, which is basically when you get in your pit box, how long it takes them to do the actual pit stop. Just in comparison, the pit stop between Tom Drilling and Rob Haynes. Tom's was a 14.98. Rob was a 15.02. So right there, he already had, 2 thousandths of a second. Not a lot. Maybe, 4 thousandths of a second. Not a lot of time, but in racing, thousandths is a lot. Here is where the big difference was. Total pit time. Tom Drilling's total pit time was 42.33 to Rob's 42.63. He made up 3/10 or 3/100 of a second on pit road. Yeah, that's right. Thousands. Yep. 3/100 on pit road, which allowed him by inches to get the lead off pit road, which could be a crucial thing here for him to put it in victory lane. So just there, we talk about it week in and week out, how things on pit road and how races can be won and lost. It's amazing. That right there, that's just strategy. And unfortunately on iRacing, Jim, they don't have the control like in real racing. Your pit crew obviously can, it's all about how fast your pit crew is on real racing. Here on iRacing, you don't have control of your pit crew. Sometimes it's a fast number, sometimes it's slow. You do have control over how you get in and off and how you get in your pit box and stuff. And sometimes right there on the edge of the speed limit can win or lose a race for you.
Right, and it's going to make a big difference in this third stage too. I mean, Haynes has been tough. Your top 5 have been tough, so you can win or lose on that last stage right in the pits. Absolutely.
Well, that's a little bit of tech talk for you there, folks. Hope you enjoy it. Like throwing out a little bit of scenarios and stuff that goes on through racing, so forth and so on, in all disciplines and style type of racing. Right now, though, Tom Drilling is the man out front. He'd love to put it in victory lane. Rob Haynes has other plans. Chris McCullen there, don't count him out. Josh Saucy and John Held in the mix, too. I mean, you got a lot of fast machines still in that top 10. And it's still anybody's race. It's still, I won't say even with this being the last stage, it's still going to be early. You've got, 33, 43. We're going to have about 45 laps. They're going to have to pit no matter what. Whether there's a caution or not, you're not making it all the way. So again, it would come down to, if it's a green flag stop, it would come down to that mistake on pit road. When do you make your pit stop? Do you pit early? Do you pit late? If you pit early and a caution comes out, boy, I tell you what, that's another strategy. So everything, man, is up in the air. Here we go. Pace car's in. Tom Drelling's going to try to get that jump, and he does. Green flag flies. We're back racing at Chicagoland.
You know, let's see if we have that caution. That caution came out in the first 2 stages within the first 10 laps, and it really made a difference in the race.
It did, and you just see Tom already just expanding out that lead. Rob right there just can't pull in. Here comes Chris, going to try to pressure it on. Most of the time we see the battle happening around about second and third. That's what Tom wants to see. He wants to see Chris get up there and hammer on the back end of Rob. Rob, though, man, is closing in. Well, let's see if he's going to get that run, but here comes Chris, too. And Rob's going to drive down on the inside. Well, he's been fast all night long.
Yeah, you look him cutting that inside. Those guys stayed outside, and there he goes. Now we have our leader. Let's see if he can hold it to the rest of the race. You know, what's really going to matter is, are we going to get a caution? Will that make a difference?
Oh, boy, I tell you what, Rob right there, smart move, dropped down on the inside, cut the nose off of Chris. Man, just kind of a really gutsy style move right there on Rob's part. But, man, our top guy, Tom Drelling, already falling back to 4th place. I don't know if anybody's got anything for Rob. He utilized those tires. He knew that he probably had to push that car hard here early. Chris right there on the back end, he had to push that car early to get out front. Because, I got to say, I think out front is where you want to be. Marred in traffic after a while, I think those cars fall off the pace.
And we're going to see some more aggressive driving towards the end of this race here, instead of kind of being cautious. And especially at the beginning, we already see them cutting down the inside as hard as they can.
Absolutely. Right now, John Held, he makes a pass over Tom Drelling. Unfortunately, Tom's falling off. We got Kenneth McCullen right there moving up. He's up to 7th. A Whalen there along with Jason Branch and company. Rob's still leading it out front here. You're seeing now is a lot of these guys trying to get everything they can on their newer tires, kind of set them up here, see how long they can go on this run. Whalen's right there along with it. Darren Bruce back up to 9th. He's got Josh Mayu. Remember we was talking about him. He's up to 10th. He's trying to battle it out with old Darren right there at 9th.
You know, our guys through 6th through 10th, they're going to need something. They're going to need some luck. Our top 5 are fast right now.
Yes, it is. Top 5, man, fast, like you just said. Guys looking very good. Rob Haynes, the man out front, leading the way here. With old Chris McCullen there in 2nd for our last and final stage here tonight.
He's staying right with our leader, but you know, both of them are just pulling away from everybody else right now.
Good run so far. Yeah, Rob Haynes, he is definitely, like you just said, he is walking away with this one.
And he's been fast all night, and he's just, what he's been done is just patience. He's had patience, made the aggressive moves when he knows he has fresh tires, and he just sits out in front now, runs the right line, and takes his time.
It is. I don't know, Chris, he's right there, being patient himself. Got Josh up right there in the mix too. Battle going on around 6th, 7th place though. You got Kenneth, Whalen, Jason right there. They're actually having a pretty good duel.
And that back, they're going to have to run together to catch up too. You know, they're going to have to find each other's draft. They're going to have to take their time. You know, too much fighting puts them a little bit further behind, and it's going to be hard to catch up.
Absolutely. So don't want to fight too much, like you just said, because it will definitely make you lose a lot of positions here. And you don't want to lose too much. Lose a lot. Guess what? You're one and done here.
We look at McCullough and Haynes out in front, and they have a second on, at least almost a second on 3rd place. So Held is back there in fourth and fifth, and everybody's kind of spreading out a little bit.
And that's what you're going to see as the run goes on. Everybody kind of spread out, like you said, kind of just getting everything they possibly can get early with the new tires, or with their tires. Set us up here for the final. Checking the last lap here. We've had some interesting time with the other stages, as the cautions have flown kind of uniquely through this whole entire event. Just have to see right now. We're getting up here on about lap 100. So it'll put us within 33 laps. If they could go, let's say, another 10 laps and a caution flies, that puts them within pit strategy, or puts them within the pit window.
Right, and that's maybe what some of these veterans hold over some of these rookies is that pit strategy at the end. Are they holding back a little bit? Do they take 2? Do they take 4? Where are we at? Was there a caution? So it all makes a big difference.
Yes, it does. Good run here with all these drivers. Everybody is mashed up doing what they need to do. Out front, Rob Haynes is the man there. Chris McCullen in the mix in second. Josh Saucy right there in third. John Held up in the fourth. Tom Drilling up in the fifth. Jason Branch, sixth. Kenneth McCullen, seventh. Chuck Harrell there in eighth. Waylon McConnell in ninth. And Josh Mayhew rounds the top 10. Most notable names: Thomas Lattimore, unfortunately, running there in 14th. Darren Bruce there in 11th. Doug Hess falling back to 17th. Just some of the guys who were really fast earlier in the race just kind of falling off the pace in the back.
Like you said, Lattimore's got a little damage to the front. Did that affect him? I'm not sure when he got that, but he just hasn't been the same since about a third into the race.
Got to have that speed here. I know this is not a super speedway or anything, but draft does play a factor in aerodynamics with these cars. They are so reliant on them. I mean, that's the thing with a lot of these oval tracks and these 1.5 miles or a little bit, even a little tad smaller, 1 mile track at that. Definitely you are fast enough around it that you need the aerodynamics there. So a little bit of mishap or a little bit of wrinkle on the car, you'll lose a lot of speed. Good battle going on around 6th place spot here. Kenneth, Chuck, Tom. Tom's just not been right ever since the start of this one.
No, he's dropped back quite a bit, but I'll tell you, McCullough's come right up to 6th place, and right now he looks fast.
He does. Oh, Kenneth right there up to 6th. Turning up the wick here later on as late in the race. Lap 100, 33 to go. Like I said, we're getting close to that mark. Now what'll be interesting here is if they know they're within the pit window and they are able to make it within the pit window, at what point then do you pit? Do you short pit it, or do you stay out as long? Because if we have green flag pit stops here, Jim, and we know, what one thing that green flag pit stops do, it splits the field up and it spreads them out even more. So, like with Rob Haynes right now, with the lead he has a .90 and right at a second lead over Chris. What would happen is that lead would extend if Rob went into pits, depending on when he does, under green flag circumstances normally. If Chris doesn't pit with him, that is. If Chris opts to pit a lap later or so forth. Now, if Chris maybe short pits, it might help him out some, but you've got to be able to pick how long, if you're able to run that guy down. Like in this instance, we're talking about Chris McCullen and Rob. Chris has got to look. Rob really right now is kind of, dictating the pace of it. But it looks like, though, Chris would have to be like, all right, do I short pit? Am I fast enough to get back out here? Do I have enough time to do it, too? And that's what I'm getting at. If you pit, let's say, with 20 to go, all right, is 20 laps going to be enough for you to run him down? So sometimes time is just not on your side.
Let me ask you this question. Does Chris follow Rob right into the pits? Does it?
Yeah.
It could make a difference. Rob is fast, and Chris has to know that. And I think really think that Chris has to follow him in and take advantage of every single, point staying with him this whole race.
Yeah, and I'm with you. It's either he's going to follow him in or he short pits. He could stay out and definitely get an advantage that way. I've seen it happen a million times, and I'm going to tell you what, I've seen so many different pit strategies in the past, over the years and whatnot. And guys, that they always seem to amaze me when it comes to pit strategies, because I'm sitting there like, huh? It's way totally different than something I do. If he short pits, his hope is to utilize those tires and run down Rob. But the only way I see that would really work is if Rob stays out more than two or three laps longer. If he comes in right behind Chris, then maybe that strategy won't work. If they pit together, the biggest thing right now is Rob's walking away. He's got a 1.4 second. If they pit together, I don't think Chris has any chance to run him down. He's not running him down right now on the equal set of tires. I think Rob will just extend that lead, obviously, because he'll get on pit road way before Chris will. He'll get his pit stop done. Unless, obviously no problems. We've seen that before. No mistakes, no mishaps or anything. If everything runs smooth on the pit stops, Rob would. So it's going to be interesting what Chris does here. Obviously, a caution could throw all this talk we're throwing out the window. That definitely mixes it up. But man, I don't know. When it comes to that stuff, Jim, I'm gonna tell you, pit strategies, I don't know. Crazy.
I'm with you, Joe. And in the dirt track, you don't have to pit, but my thinking this through is Rob's fast. Let's just put it that way. I mean, no matter what, no one's been able to catch him all race. Does Chris settle for second, settle for those points, and just run his own race instead of going for that first place, instead of taking that chance? Because he pits at the wrong time, he comes out in a pack, things could change.
Sure. And that's a good point, too. If you're seeing right now, hey, look, I'm not running Rob down. Obviously, every racer wants to win the race. They're going to try to run as hard as they possibly can. And we see a ton of cars coming in. Darren Bruce, a lot of guys coming into pit road. So green flag pit stops are underway. So it'll be interesting what these top guys do here soon. But you're right. Every racer wants to win. That's your mentality. You come out here, you want to win. So you want to run as hard. But at some point in the race, you do, like what you just mentioned, you've got to sit and say, okay, what is going to best benefit me in the long run? Obviously points. I'm having a good run here tonight. I'm running in second. I don't want to mess that up. I don't want to get met. And if a caution flies, and it looks like Rob Haynes is on pit road, so he did the short pit strategy, and Chris is going to stay out once. So let's see how this benefits him and how long Chris stays out. But back to what you're saying, you don't want to get caught up. Now, a caution, obviously, you probably will see if Chris and Rob are side by side or whatnot, you're going to see Chris go for it. Why wouldn't you? But you see Rob do the same. At that point, it changes that mentality. At this right here, now Chris is in a unique position. He knows he's got a pit. What he would love to see at this moment is a caution fly, or here within the next lap or two. Because the longer he stays out, we know Rob is going to be quick when he comes back on the track. Now, I get what Chris is doing. He's pretty much making his bed, and he's going to have to kind of lay in at this point. He's hoping for a caution. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Because when he makes his pit stop, Rob is going to take back over the lead, no matter what. And never mind, here he comes on pit road. So everything I was saying is out the window. But Rob's going to take that pit. Now, Chris got him some bonus points there. It's just going to be interesting to see just how far different Rob is now. As, let's see, Haynes is back on the lead lap, 30 seconds back. He's in 8th. He's coming out of, looks like out of turn 4.
Let's go back to that strategy that we're talking about there, Joe. Chris stayed up while the leader was pitting, and does that make it? How much time did he lose not on fresh tires out there? I just don't know. You get your bonus points, you get your one lead lap, and maybe you just come in right away.
The only thing that this is going to benefit that he would have got out of it is, obviously, if it goes green from this point on, and we're looking at 20 laps, Chris can run that car hard. He has got that benefit of 3 to 4 lap newer tires. As long as he doesn't get caught up in traffic or get caught up in a wreck or anything, he could come through the field. I really feel like, I don't know if he's got enough to run Rob down to win the race, but I do feel like he might have enough time to get back up there to get top 5, maybe get back up there to second place. We'll just have to see, because he's going to be on those newer tires. At the position he was sitting in, I don't know. I'm with you, Jim. I mean, it's a tough call, strategy-wise. I'm glad these guys got to make the calls, because I wouldn't have known what to do. I mean, really, you're not as fast as the leader. You've got to make a pit stop. When you make it, I probably would have short pitted just to see if I could have gotten a little bit of advantage, but that's just been me. But obviously, he's going to have the newer tires. The newer tires are going to bring him through the field. We see him right now. He's definitely faster than these guys in front of him. He's just got to be very patient. He'll get by him. He'll get by Matthew right here. He'll get by Anthony. So he's using those new tires to his advantage. Yeah,
and Rob's just pulling away. I think, barring any issues, I think Rob has this. I don't know if Chris will be able to catch him, but another name that just pops up in 4th place is Lattimore. The strategy he was using, just brought him right back up in the top 5.
And it did, and that's just it. Even with that damage, he might end up coming out here with a very good finish in the top 10. And just to give you an idea of lap times. Now, you got to realize Chris is going through lap traffic. Now, that's hurting a lot of his lap times. Rob right now out in clean air for the most part. He ran a 32.06 to a 32.21 of Chris. Let's see what he runs this time. And again, Chris right there having to battle it out. Yeah, I mean, Chris, the lap traffic's hurting him a lot, where he's having to battle, side by side. He ran a 32.38 to a 32.16. So you can see the difference in the clean air. Now we'll see what happens here is Chris has now gotten around the lap, or not lap traffic, gotten around the traffic there in the cars. Let's see what he does, kind of a clean lap here without anybody around him. And 32.20 for Rob, and 32.22. So they're right on top of each other. That's the difference in it. But you can just see already, man, Chris is, I think he's pretty much trying to get back to that second place, and he's using those new tires for it.
Yeah, there's no doubt that he's going to. I think he can get up to 3rd place for sure. Can he reach that 2nd place with the time that we have left? But
that's close.
I think Rob's out there, and Rob should feel pretty comfortable right now where he's at.
Let's see. McCullen right now is 6.2 seconds back from the leader. He is he's right there, about 0.5, half second off. Or excuse me, my bad. He's 6 seconds off from the leader. He is about, from Jason Branch, he's only a couple tenths off. But the gap between Branch, or what would be McCullen right now, to him is a solid, I'm going to say 2.5 seconds. Let's see if he's knocking off enough time. Chris ran a 32.4 to a 32.64. At that pace right there, no. With 13 laps to go, Chris does not have enough time, unless a caution flies, to run down Josh sitting in second place. Just because there's a 2-second gap between them. He would have to be knocking tenths off here. Probably, several tenths, a lap off to try to run him down. So I think 3rd, unless just something wild happens in the next, 10, which that always can happen. It's racing. If it goes green, I do not feel that Chris can run Josh down. I'm not taking anything away from Chris or any of those guys. I just feel like that this is what green flag pit stops do. It mixes up the whole field and it makes a wild strategy.
Josh has been up there in the top 10 the whole race, and we know Chris has a fast car, and we haven't been talking about Josh too much because he's been mixed up a little bit, but he's got a fast car out there. He's got a good solid second place, and you're right. Can Chris catch him?
Right now it's 1.2 seconds. And I'm trying to look. There's going to be 10 to go. I mean, Chris is coming very fast. He's gaining about 400ths a lap. He is gaining quite a bit. I might take that back. He actually might be able to catch Josh before the end of this one. But we've always, I know you've heard this term, Jim, in racing. Catching and passing. I mean, that's two of the things. But with the way he's coming, okay, I'm going to take it back. Chris probably can get back to second. Is he going to catch Rob? He's going to need a caution for that. And Rob right now is probably praying don't have one because all he's got to do is hit his marks. But I would have thought there, but my calculations, my math was a little bit off, that Chris was going to be able to catch Josh. But, hey, never mind. He's right there on his back bumper.
I'm watching the numbers, and Josh is running right behind Rob, staying pretty consistent. But Chris, the amount of time that he's gained, even on Rob, if you look at the difference in the last 5-6 laps, is pretty amazing.
It is, and right here he goes for second place, so he's able to get back up. He's going to still need a caution to pull Rob down. There's no way he's making up 4 seconds here with the amount of time. Still got to get my hats off to Josh there. If he hangs on where he is, coming home here with a podium victory or finish here, very good run by Josh Saucy. So definitely my hats off to him. Rob right now is crossing his fingers. No caution, because I think that right there, even though he would control the field, if everyone behind him comes in the pit, and remember, we still got green-white checker. You got to throw that in the mix too. They do have that here, so that could happen. And I don't think anybody would pit behind them with this amount of laps to go, but somebody would in the back. We'll just have to see. But right now, it's to me, it's Rob's to lose. So look at Anthony Keys though. That's another one. That Dorito machine. He's doing outstanding. He got back out, fought back up to fourth, and Josh Mayhew. Talked about him a couple times having a good run. Still, he's up to fifth.
We got that 4 through 6. That's a battle, and that's some good racing, some good racers right there. All falling in line. Looking at the lap count, knowing how much is left, following each other, using a little bit of a draft, and maybe even saving their tires a little bit, using a little bit of strategy to make those passes at the end.
Absolutely. Got a battle here going, though. Josh Mayhew's going to look to the inside for the moment there on Anthony, see if he can't take the spot of fourth. Drove it down the inside. I'll go door to door. He's going to take that spot. Oh, as you see, Anthony got tight and wiggly up top. He's going to lose 2 positions. The Matt Weeks also going to bring Jason Branch up into the mix there. I said it earlier. Remember the momentum? Well, you just see it right there. Anthony lost. The car wiggled, got out of the groove. He lost 2 positions, almost lost 3.
Yeah, he felt those 2 guys coming down, especially Mayhew coming down low. And knowing that these tires have a little wear on it, you get out of that groove a little bit, giving your inside guy a little bit of space, trying to race him at the same time, and the next thing you know, you're near the wall.
There you go. Right now, laps are winding down. We're within about 3-4 to go here. Rob Haynes, the man controlling it. Chris McCullen there in second. Josh Saucy in third. Matt Weeks moved up to fourth. Josh Mayhew could run up there in the fifth. Anthony Keys is sixth. Jason Branch is seventh. Tom Drilling the eighth. Kenneth McCullen there in ninth. And John Held rounds the top 10. Good run here at Chicagoland for the Ford Entertainment Group PC Xfinity Series for the I-State Racing Association here. Man, good race so far. Had a lot of strategy involved in this one between the stages. that's what's made this one really kind of interesting. I mean, good racing throughout the whole entire field, but the strategies, man, the cautions, the way they flew, the strategies with it. And again, I'm just, maybe if Dalton, if you're listening out there, I hope you are, because Dalton's man that runs the show here. Throw some tire limits in there, because, well, I tell you what, if you want to make it really, really interesting, that will make these races what's the word? A scientific affair there. You're going to have to get out the textbook and almost try to figure out, okay, when do we pit, when we don't.
Yeah, and these guys are racing hard at the same time, but I know they're looking at their calculations to see where they're at throughout that race. That'd really throw something in for a lot of these guys to, have some limitations there.
And it would, and like you said, it would take away some of the, let's just run wide open mentality a lot all the time, because you would have to save those tires again. Folks, the Wednesday night series I do there, they changed it up. They have 3 sets of tires that they could use. Let's give you an idea. They ran 170 laps at Dover. 3 sets of tires. It was good. It was really was interesting, because when the cautions flew, you had some guys pit, some had to stay out because they had already pitted prior. So it mixed the field up quite wild. But here we are tonight. White flag out one more time for this man here, Rob Haynes. He's got a huge lead over Chris, and he heads down to the backstretch for the final time.
I look at Chris, since he took second place, he's really backed down a little bit, hasn't been able to make those gains anymore, and I think he's really satisfied with second place. He ran a perfect race also. I mean, Rob ran fast, but Chris had the right strategy.
He did. Out of turn 4, final time. Rob Haynes is going to put it in victory lane. Chris McCullen there in second. Josh Saucy's going to come home in third. What an outstanding run here for these guys tonight. Wow. Loved it here, man. That was some good racing throughout this whole entire event.
I'll tell you, we got thrown for a little bit of a loop in the strategy department in the beginning, but, that made it fun. It made it interesting. It all worked out at the end.
Absolutely it did. Let's bring up some of these guys, get a word with them here tonight. If we can't find a few of them here. Old Rob Haynes, he's going to be relieved to come out of this one here. Find them. There's Saucy. Well, look at that old Rob Haynes. He didn't even have a team to run off of. So wow. Well, let's bring up third place man, Josh Saucy here, and tell you what, Jim, let you get a word with him if you want.
Oh,
all right, let's bring him down here. Let you get a word with him.
Hey, Josh, this is Jim up in the booth. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you, Jim.
Hey, great race today. Third place. You're pretty happy about that?
No. From where I started and everything I went through, I'll take third place, but I shouldn't have put myself in that position to begin with, so I'm a little mad.
Yeah, I'll tell you, those top 2 were fast, but we watched you run in the top 10 that whole race, and consistency really helped you out.
Put myself behind the ball right off the start, messed up and qualified, started dead last, and then was coming up to the field kind of nicely, just trying to take my time, and someone ended up dooring me, and I got 30 seconds of damage, and the car just wasn't right. Wasn't 100% after that, even after fixing it. So to get back to third, that's not.
Well, I just want to say congratulations, Josh. A podium finish in this race was not too shabby, so great job.
Man, I appreciate it. Lost some points to Rob, trying to chase him down, and he's catching me in wins and extending his points lead here. So, it's a nice little battle we have going.
Yeah, Rob was fast tonight, but I'll tell you, even the top 5 guys are right there. You guys did a great job tonight.
Oh, I appreciate it.
All right, there you go. Third place man, old Josh. Well, let's bring up the second place guy here, Chris McCullen. Let's get a word with him.
Chris, it's Jim up in the booth with Joe. Can you hear me?
I got a copy.
Hey, great race, Chris. You know, you were fast all night, and I'll tell you, those last 20 laps, Joe and I were just talking that you were really gaining. I mean, we were really surprised, and even your pit strategy on that thing in itself.
Yeah, yeah, I kind of messed up strategy on the end there. I wanted to go a couple extra laps just so I have tire advantage, but I came out behind so many cars I had to pass. But I'm this KCI Georgia Chevy Camaro was fast tonight, and it's good to get up here and run up front. I've had a rough season to start, so glad to be up here.
Yeah, you were fun to watch, Chris. Great job. Second place.
Guys, thank you for broadcasting, and hope everybody enjoyed.
Well, I tell you what, right there, man, Chris did a good job, and I know Nancy's out there watching and loving every minute of it here. But this guy here, I don't know if anybody could have run him down tonight. Man, gonna put him in victory lane. Rob Haynes, Joe White in the booth, got a copy?
I got you, Joe.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, you were bad fast tonight. I know probably you was crossing your fingers there at the end. Was you hoping there was no caution going to fly, because that would have gave Chris one more chance at you?
Yeah, I dove to that white flag faster than I ever have. Quickest I could get there, that was the best plan, and yeah, it worked out. There was a couple times there, Joe, I wasn't sure where I was going to end up in the field. I pitted early there on one of the runs there, and it worked out. And damn, yeah.
Yeah, take us back on that pit strategy, because we questioned that one, the one earlier on of what were you doing, because we were like, there was really no benefit of it that we saw, but maybe you did. But from what we saw is on that first stage, it was like, why would he have pitted? So what happened on that one?
I didn't want to run out of gas, Joe. A lot of guys ran out of gas there, and you can't pit. The pits are closed before the end of a stage. So 38, the end of 38, the pit road was closing. So I came in, I think, end of 36 just to make sure I was safe, and put on tires and fuel so I could get out and not have to pit for the end.
Makes sense then. Okay, well, that definitely answers that one, because we were wondering what in the world, because it did look like a lot of guys were backing it down to try to save and make it to that first stage there. But hey, what a race, what a strategy. I was sitting there and I said, I hope Dalton's maybe listening, because what would make these races even wilder and more strategy would throw some tire limits in there, because it would be just wild to see. But nonetheless, you had a fast machine. Hey, got anybody you want to thank for this win tonight?
Sorry, Joe, you're cutting out a bit there. Yeah, I'd like to thank iStates. I forget to mention them all the time. So iStates and the fans watching OSRN here, we appreciate everything, Jim, Joe.
Man, no doubt about it. You're right there. Well, I'll tell you what, Rob, you're the man. You put in victory lane again. Congratulations.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
All right, there we go. Well, Jim, I'll tell you what, we're going to leave here. Chicagoland, you got any final words on this one? Because it was an exciting race.
No, Joe, thanks a lot for having me. It was a lot of fun, doing this race with you, and hope to be back sooner or later.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, folks, we're going to leave here. And tonight, well, it was a good one, as these guys, man, put on an awesome show. Well, for myself, Jim, and everybody here at the Ford Entertainment Group PC Xfinity Series, everyone, have a good night.